Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be back at the turn of probably one of the best bull markets we'll ever see in our careers. My name is Ivan Bebic. I'm the president and CEO of Coppernico Metals. This is an exploration company with the most compelling copper gold exploration project in the world that I'm aware of. We've been going after this project for almost 8 years, and today I'm going to give you an update of how close we are to bringing this online and our plans to bring this into the market in 2023. As an exploration company, most of what I say will be speculative and forward-looking. This will allow me to do so. So just a quick history on where Coppernico came from. It was in a company called Oren Resources, where we spent $150 million after some great successes with some bright geologists looking for the world's largest mines that we could find. We ended up with gold, silver, and Coppernico's Sombrero asset as key opportunities that could achieve that goal. We decided back in 2020 that we should diversify and split the company into three to offer more to shareholders, and I chose to run Coppernico as CEO for the appeal of the project and the remaining challenges to bring it online. Not going to belabor our past, but I'm going to tell you it's there. We've made discoveries before, we've sold companies before, we've got a very special skill set from a very good team that's able to monetize exploration success considerably. We're not looking for doubles, we're not looking for triples, we're looking for changing the demand and and help supply the copper that's missing for the world that we're about to enter in terms of the shortages that were looming in front of us. Our team hasn't changed much on the board and the management side. It has. Tim Kingsley, who's here with me at the conference today, is our new VP of Exploration. Tim comes from Trevally. He's a remarkable geologist. He's spearheading the team, speaks fluent Spanish, and has been in South America more than he's been here in the past year, preparing not just for Sombrero, but for another projects that we're going to add to the portfolio, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Christian Rios has gone from VP of Operations to VP of Corporate Development. Christian Rios was integral in the introduction of the assets for our sister company, Torque, Santa Cecilia, Margarita. He is one of the most connected people in South America to major projects, and that's why he got promoted to that position with us. The world is not prepared for the copper demand that it's facing. The impact of electric vehicles, the actual massive infrastructure investment goals, not just by China, which has been the case till now, but every government in the world is moving in the same direction, and nobody took the mining situation, the supply and demand into proper consideration. So we're going into one of the best copper markets we'll ever see. We believe copper will perpetually perform through the rest of our lifetimes because of the modernization, the EV demand, and the supply shortages that are looming for high-quality copper projects. Our project is located in southern Peru, and I know many of you will have a question mark on the politics. I'll get to that in just a moment. It's near what's called the Andahuaylas-Yari Belt, which is one of the world's more prolific belts with some of the largest mines in the world occurring on that belt. Specifically, Las Bambas, which in 2020 was the 9th largest copper mine producing in the world. That's an analog to one of our targets. And we don't just have an analog to Las Bambas, we have an analog to the entire belt in our land position. But just a bit on the history and how this was found. Going back to 2007 and 2008, a gentleman by the name of Miguel Cardozo, who's credited with the discovery of Yanacocha, a 60 million ounce gold deposit in Peru, he had a little company that noticed, as you see in this image, an erosional window. There's volcanic ash that's covered the rocks that could be consequential with mineralization, and over time, erosion exposed them. There's some nice grade on this picture of what he saw, but more importantly, when we got to start trenching and seeing the surface, we found robust mineralization. We found a lot of similarities, which I'll briefly touch on, to some of the major mines next door. This is year 8 for us. We've spent $18 million in 8 years of our lives waiting for this project. That's a painful wait, but every minute of that wait is worth it, and then some. That's how big the prize is at Sombrero that I'm going to talk about here in a moment. In this image, in between the white dashed lines, you see some of the major mines. Notably, Tintaya was 500 million tons of 1% copper. Notably, Las Bambas, the 9th largest producing mine in the world. Everyone viewed that the mines occurred in the region between those two white dashed lines because of the pink color, which are intrusions that were exposed on surface and they brought the mineralization to surface. But to the west, it's covered in green. That's volcanic cover. The government actually mapped this as a younger age of rocks that was not consistent with all the deposits next door. We've put our age date, 38 to 40 million years, which is the same as Las Bambas and several of the other mines. These are intrusions that are covered, that were exposed by erosion. So what do? We spent almost $1 million doing a stream sediment program. We go in the streams to see what's draining off the ridges to find out where would the source, or could there be a source of copper and gold here. On the left, the more pink the color, the more copper. On the right, that's gold. If you overlap these two images, you have an incredible heat map of where to go. We screened 3,000 square miles, and we acquired 500 square miles, and we've had this for the past 7 years. All of our work has been done to date where the star is, where it says area work to date. We've explored about 5% of the entire land position, and in our first access agreement we're looking to achieve here shortly, we will have access to Macha Machai, which is one of the most robust copper and gold signatures in the entire belt, and that will fuel a lot of news as we prepare to drill Sombrero Main. I'm not going to get into the geology. I'm just going to talk about the image on the right. This is like layers of a cake from the surface down. We have the productive limestone units that host all the deposits on that trend next door, and that's called the Ferrobamba limestone. We have a second mineralized limestone unit called the Grand Medal. We have multiple windows of finding multiple magnitudes of discoveries like the mines next door. We might be able to repeat something similar of the entire trend. To find out if you have a big copper gold discovery or any discovery of sort, we use electrical and magnetic currents into the ground, and we use that to reflect off resistive metals, and we look to get conductive signatures off conductive metals. This is a huge signature. It's about 10 kilometers in total strike length. But when we showed this to some major mining companies who've been to the project, they said, look, that could be clay and water giving that signature, or silica or other metals. We're like, you're right. We didn't know we had this historical drill hole that only goes 100 meters down from surface at Furasso, drilled by an iron ore mining company. And it's definitely not clay and water, as you can see by the image here. That's oxide copper, and in the sulfides we're seeing copper and gold as well. This was the turning key from a technical perspective. It fingerprinted 10 kilometers of drill targeting that we might have it. This is what our drill plan looks like. We just expanded our environmental drill permit for 2 years amidst all the recent turmoil in Peru. You're looking at 38 drill pads. We can drill 48 holes, and our first target's going to be 7 kilometers long, which is massive in comparison to a lot of exploration projects that here around the world. Those targets are complemented by trenches on surface, and the chance of discovery is extremely high. The risk comes down to what grade is it going to occur. I was going to show you a 3D model, but I elected to show you the actual 3D picture that exists from Mother Nature. Carved us a nice canyon just about 7 kilometers north of our target. You're looking at a scar and breccia body, a 400-meter cliff. 200 meters down, there's mining adits into the cliff. You can see the robust copper and gold numbers sampled on top, and beside it, we believe that we're standing on that around this whole ring or horseshoe shape that you see here, and that's what we believe we're exploring, and there's bornite at the bottom. So that gives us 400 meters of vertical confidence that we could have a substantial deposit from surface. When talking about big discoveries, the most important aspect of profitability is infrastructure. We've got paved roads, towns, and the government built high tensile power lines on the project since we've been here. We joke that we can plug in an extension cord when it's time to build a mine, but that will make whatever we find dramatically more valuable. The geologists have been great today. Dave Smithson and Michael Henriksen have led us to this project with Miguel Cardozo, and they deserve all the respect in the world, but the real heroes lately have been the community team. Second to none of what I've experienced, not just in Peru, but in the world of working with communities. A reason why is they found a path to bring $4 million of government-funded agricultural programs into the Andes. This is the most I'm aware of any exploration company that's not drilling, that hasn't made a discovery yet, and it's long-term, sustainable. It will last for multi-decades to come. So we're in the final steps of getting our access. What does that mean? We all saw the midterms. They went from the far left to the centric. That changed everything for us in the fourth quarter. We got through an agreement. We are collecting signatures. We're more than halfway through the signatures. Once those are collected, we need a community assembly to approve the agreement one last time, and then we're notarizing it, and we're boots on the ground a week later after that notarization occurs. We anticipate that in the next couple months, but there's no guarantee that we can get there without another hiccup. So we've expanded our reach, which I'll talk about in a moment, to add more assets. But just as a summary of the last 12 months, we've added Tim Kingsley, we've added Christian Rios, we've promoted him in his role. The The actual political drama in Peru is no surprise to us. I've been through 6 presidents in 7 years, and we're looking at a country that's made a big turn in the right direction, and we're seeing it at our big project. We've let go of our Tucana project. It was too slow on the access to get to where we need to be, and that puts us into the position where we are right now. We have a financing that we just announced on Friday. This is a pre-IPO or pre-listing financing intended to complete the work at Sombrero to get it online and make some acquisitions in Ecuador, which we're going down to do this week, which will ensure us the access to list, even if Sombrero takes longer. So in final summary here, we have a world-class project. We believe we're going to get access this year, and we're going to commence exploration and drilling likely mid to fourth quarter of this year. We're expanding our portfolio to give us more optionality and more opportunity, and we plan to list later this year. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time.